So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, guys. Share the video as always. All that good stuff. Guys, I want to break down a few topics here. So guys, there's a lot of talk about who David Benavidez wants to fight. David Benavidez wants to fight Jermall Charlo. He wants to fight Demetrius Andrade. But there's a consensus that if David Benavidez was to fight Jermall Charlo and he was to fight Andrade, that he would pick him apart and batter them. Now, a lot of people seem to think that David Benavidez is a Mexican monster that's just going to walk through and batter every single guy. You know, Makai said that he feels that David Benavidez would knock out Andrade and Charlo. And the fact that David Benavidez is so big and he's so strong and this, that. The fact of the matter is David Benavidez isn't exactly the most skilled fighter. He's got very fast hands. He's quick. He's fast. But people like Charlo, people like Plant, people like Andrade aren't going to fall over that easy, like Lemieux fell over. Also, they're going to be a lot harder to hit. They're going to be a lot harder to catch. And they've also got power in their fists, which Lemieux had as well, to be fair. But Lemieux was washed. And Lemieux had no business in there with David Benavidez. Benavidez was too much for him. And it was always going to end that way. But that might not be the case when it comes to Jermall Charlo. Andrade is horrible for Benavidez. I don't see how, just like people say, I don't see how Andrade beats Benavidez. I don't see how you guys don't. I'm not saying that Andrade will 100% beat Benavidez and he'd beat the crap out of Benavidez, because I'm not that deluded. To be honest, after watching Benavidez can fight. He's fast, so he's a risk for Andrade. Especially when you look at Andrade's performance against Liam Williams, you know, that definitely didn't leave any confidence going into any future fight. But when I look at David Benavidez's style and I look at the fact that he's so flat-footed, someone like Demetrius Andrade could box his ears off. With the slow feet that Benavidez has, Andrade could literally box his ears off and make him look very ordinary. So I don't see how that would be an easy fight. And people may say, well, we don't see how that would be an easy fight for Andrade, but I don't see how that would be an easy fight for David Benavidez. David Benavidez, Andrade is all wrong for Benavidez. He's fast, he moves well, he's got good feet. I don't see how that's an easy fight. Stylistically, if you look at it, he's a nightmare. He's an absolute nightmare for David Benavidez. It's simple. And I'm not hating on Benavidez. I'm just saying, I'm telling you straight, he's a nightmare. Trust me when I say it, he's an absolute nightmare for that guy. He's Benavidez, I mean, Benavidez would have absolute horror shows. They said it themselves effectively. They said it themselves effectively that Benavidez would have a huge amount of trouble. Benavidez said that that Demetrius Andrade would be his hardest fight. He even said. So they even acknowledge how hard the fight with Andrade would be. They acknowledge that Demetrius Andrade would be a very tough, difficult task. Jermall Charlo, not as much so, because Jermall Charlo's a guy that, he's got a good jab, you know, solid right hand. He's an explosive fighter, but he's more of a guy that likes a guy coming to him. He's also a guy that I believe that Andrade would give all kinds of fits to. The only question is with Andrade is his chin and his stamina. If that holds up, I see him beating both those guys, really, because stylistically, he's all wrong. Canelo's a different ball game, because Canelo, he works you out. Not even the fact that he works you out. It's just that I just don't know whether Andrade has got the chin and got the toughness to be able to, because Canelo's going to land on Andrade. Benavidez might, I don't know how often Benavidez will. Charlo will land on Andrade, but I don't know how often. And I think Andrade could fiddle his way to 12-round decision. I don't think he can with Canelo. Hence why I think Canelo will beat him. With those other two, I can see him in fiddling his way to 12 rounds and winning a decision. But then on the other hand, I can also see Benavidez chinning Andrade or wearing Andrade down. Because Benavidez, Andrade ain't going to stop. Andrade can't stop anybody. When we think about it, yeah, he stopped Quigley, but I'm saying of any kind of decent level, I generally go the distance with Demetrius Andrade. So Andrade isn't going to stop David Benavidez. So the chances are he's going to have to go the distance. Whereas I think Benavidez can stop Andrade. And that for me is an issue. But I personally would favor Andrade in that fight by decision. And I don't care what any of you say. That's my personal opinion. And I'm not holding Benavidez on this high horse like some of you are. I think Demetrius Andrade can outbox him and beat him. I think Demetrius Andrade, and I think Charlo would be a tough fight for Benavidez as well. You know, Benavidez hasn't been in the ring with anyone of that caliber in their prime for us to judge whether he would just walk straight through these guys. You know, you guys are saying it, but it's not proven. It's not proven at all. You guys are saying, well, Benavidez will do this, that, and the other. Well, no, you've got to prove it. You've got to prove it. You can't just, what you guys say. It's got to be proven inside the boxing ring. It's got to be proven, and he hasn't proven it. Let's be brutally honest. Demetrius Andrade has not proven a thing at this point. And that's the problem I've got. It's not the fact that he's not a good fighter. He can definitely fight. Andrade can definitely fight. It's just the fact, Benavidez can definitely fight. It's just the fact that he hasn't proven. But then you can say the same about Andrade. He's not really proven. Neither is Jamal Charlo, really. None of them have really fought anybody of any worthwhile. They've not really fought another champion in that weight class or in their weight classes. And that's the problem I have with these guys. And a problem that I've had with these guys for a very long time is the fact that these guys have been, in my opinion, piggy-banking of another successful fighter's name rather than trying to create their own legacy. And that's what they need to do by fighting each other, but they don't seem to be getting it. And listen, whether it's a fault of one of the other, whoever, but at the end of the day, it's for me, I blame all of them because they've not managed to fight, and not any of them have fought each other yet, you know, which is pretty disappointing to say the least. And then they talk about why they don't get the appreciation, or why they don't get the fights. And come on, man, you need to fight one another. You need to make it happen, you know. But they're worried about losing their O. They're worried about losing that potential chance of getting that Canelo payday. You know, beating Canelo now is not going to be as big anyway, because Canelo's been beaten now by Bivol. So the mystique of beating Canelo is no longer there because it's all happened now. So really, these guys need to move on with their own careers and try to better their own careers, in my opinion. Otherwise, they're just going to get to a stage in their career where literally they ain't going to be fighting nobody. And that's the problem I have. They need to get in the ring and start fighting each other, in my opinion. And a fight between Benavidez and Andrade is a beautiful fight. But a fight between Benavidez and Charlo is a beautiful fight. Need to get it on and give us what we want. Guys, I want to move on to another topic. David Avanesyan will be taking on Vergil Ortiz in a fight which Avanesyan has made his name here in the UK by beating Josh Kelly. There was a lot of talk about him fighting Conor Benn, and Avanesyan has managed to develop a name. I think Conor Benn and his team are kind of avoiding that fight. I don't think they really want to fight David Avanesyan. Not to say, I actually think Ben has a chance in that fight, but I think it's high risk, low reward for Conor Benn and his team. And I think they're avoiding that fight. They don't want it. They're thinking we need to get a big name. There's no point of fighting someone like Avanesyan. But Avanesyan has got a massive opportunity now against Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz is coming off a win against Igor Kavalauskas. Was supposed to fight Mickinson not so long ago, but unfortunately Mickinson Vergil Ortiz got ill and he had to pull out the fight. And now he's been scheduled to fight David Avanesyan, which is a really good fight. Look, Kavalauskas beat Avanesyan, stopped him, and Vergil Ortiz stopped Kavalauskas. And look, styles make fights. That doesn't mean, style. That doesn't mean that just because A beat B and C beat A, that A is going to beat C. It doesn't always work like that. Boxing doesn't really work like that. Styles make fights. However, I do think stylistically this fight favors Vergil Ortiz. David Avanesyan is a come-forward fighter, pressure fighter. He can box a little bit as well, but I think Vergil Ortiz will be too much for him. I think Vergil Ortiz is very big at the weight. He's very strong. He punches very hard. I can't see Avanesyan winning this fight. I think Vergil Ortiz has also shown in the Kavalauskas fight, who I believe is a bigger puncher than David Avanesyan. And some of the Avanesyan fans might come at me, but I just think that Vergil Ortiz will beat David Avanesyan, and I think he won't just beat him; he'll stop him. I think David Avanesyan's been fighting guys of a very lower tier level in the welterweight division. He's been fighting guys that were really there for him to beat, really. and now he's going to be fighting somebody that actually he's there to be beaten by that guy. So for me, Vergil Ortiz is a massive step. Vergil Ortiz is very fast hands. He's very powerful, and he's very mean inside that boxing ring. He's got that killer instinct, man. He destroys you in there. I just don't see Avanesyan being able to hold him, keep him off. I don't think Avanesyan's got the power to really trouble Vergil Ortiz. I think Kavilauskas was a much bigger puncher than David Avanesyan, and look what he did through him. He walked through him and battered him and basically took him out. So I can only imagine what he's going to do to David Avanesyan. I think he'll knock Avanesyan out in probably 7-8 rounds. I'll be honest with you. I think Vergil Ortiz is too strong. He punches too hard. He's too fast, too young, too fresh. And at a horrible, I mean, he's at a stage in his career where I think he's horrible for David Avanesyan. I think he's hungry. I think he wants it. And the fact that he's recently got ill, I think he's going to want to come back and prove a point. I will say this, Mickinson made a point that if, you know, apparently that Vergil Ortiz was struggling making weight, and that's why he got ill. I don't know what's happened there. Maybe it wasn't the fact that he was struggling to make weight. Maybe he just didn't make the weight correctly, and hence why he suffered what he suffered. But now he's probably going to look to do it properly. And this fight, look, I think Vergil Ortiz is going to have to be on top of his game, which I believe he will be. But I think he is on top of his game. I just can't see. I can't see Avanesyan beating this guy. I can't. I think he's just too. He's too relentless. He's too vicious. I think he punches too hard. I think it. For me, it's one-way traffic. It's one-way traffic in this one. I just think stylistically, David Avanesyan's style is tailor-made for Vergil Ortiz. It's tailor-made. And I think he's going to do a number on him. That's just my personal opinion. People may not... Again, the Avanesyan fans are probably going to come at me. But I am just giving you my honest opinion about how I see this fight playing out. But nevertheless, it is a good fight. It is a very, very good fight, exciting fight. One that I think fight fans are going to welcome and love to see. But yeah, I think there's only one winner. And I think that will be David Avanesyan. I think that will be that will be Vergil Ortiz. In this one. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know if you agree with me, disagree with me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.